there's a stat that was recently posted from the basketball index of the top 10 on-ball gravity players in the league. It's an interesting way of wording it. But this calculates which players bend defenses the most when the ball's in their hands. The top 10 players are number 1, Luka. Number 2, Joel. Number 3, Dame. Number 4, James Harden. And then the rest was Curry, Trae Young, Chris Paul, DeMar DeRozan, Tatum, and Paul George. That was the 10. So I know there's a shiny new stat pretty much every day that we see online. Everyone's always sharing these things, but pretty eye-popping to see these two Sixers players in the top 4. So my question is, given how all these players are very ball dominant, does it bring to light just how hard it is for the top to have 2 of the top 4, Embiid and Harden, to gel and coexist on the fly last season? And obviously, the overall question is how much better can this duo get after with an off season to kind of learn with each other and then go into this season fresh?
Which question we answering first?
I guess how much better can this offense be this year with those two kind of having
those two guys? I mean, obviously it can be better. I mean, if you have a full training camp and you've played some games, how much better? I can't say. I mean, I really can't say that. I think Joel can improve. I think James can improve his play in the secondary role. But I don't know how much of that is going to be just those two in order for us to have the type of success that we want the team to have. I'm not sure if James has to play, at the level that we've seen. And if that's the case, if you have other guys that come up and step up and do more, then, the tandem can be looked at as not as successful from a number standpoint, but more successful from a win standpoint. So I think that this group, this pairing has to be more effective from winning more so than numbers. They got to win. They got to get past the second round. You got to be one of the top teams. So I think they can have all the numbers in the world. If it's not translating into wins, then you'll say, well, it's not working. So to me, it has to go a different route from what we've seen the last few years in that perspective. And as far as them, in this ranking that you have, it's they're all good players, first off.
Yeah.
But they're good players for a reason. They have the ball and they dominate the ball for a reason. So some of it is they have the ball. They're very good players. If you're a good defensive team, you're going to bring your defense, as they say, or pay more attention to those guys. So there's a reason why, and it's not a shock to me that that guy, those guys on the list. I mean, it's probably a shock to me that they didn't have LeBron James on there. I don't know why a guy like him wasn't on that list, but
that's interesting.
Pretty interesting though.
Going back to the first part of it, so I know people kind of brushed over when the trade happened. Does it not get enough airtime that two guys in the top 4, these are the most, some of the most ball dominant players in the league, some of these guys, 2 of them in the top 4, that makes it extra hard for them to kind of learn to play together, right? When you have 2 that ball dominant guys. I mean, I don't think it gets enough airtime that they had to learn on the fly to play together.
Yeah. I think if you have 2 ball dominant guys, I think it's not that it's not hard, but it's easier if one is a big and one's a guard.
Yeah, that definitely helped.
Yeah, I don't think it's, it's still not easy, but if you got 2 wing players, because it's at least those guys can play together. You can put them in pick and rolls and they can play a little more.
Instead of just waiting your turn.
Yes, instead of just basically waiting your turn, yes.
Yeah, that's very true, yeah. And that's probably part of the reason why it was by far the best pick and roll efficient players in the league.
I mean, the Lakers won with 2 ball dominant guys with big, small players.
Yeah. And one of them wasn't even the point guard.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So, like, yeah, I mean, it even works better that one of them is a point and one of them is the big. If you think of it that way, though, they were the most efficient and productive pick and roll duo in the league, and that was learning to play together on the fly. I would just naturally expect even 10% greater in gelling or meshing. It should look that much better, right? I mean, I would expect it to. I don't see why it could get worse when you have a whole offseason to learn to play together instead of doing it in games. Yeah, it should be pretty fun to watch. It's a cool stat. I mean, I'd love to see the metrics behind it, how they bend defenses and what that actually means. Makes the defenses cater to you to a certain degree, which, yeah, I mean, they do. Like, I mean, James Harden makes the entire top of the key collapse, and Embiid makes the bottom of the paint collapse. So you have two collapsers pretty much. Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm always curious to see where they find these. They get these numbers. So PFF does it with football, and Basketball Index is doing it with the basketball.
I think they did say they're going to try to explain this a little more because they have more stats coming out that they have kind of made and generated themselves. So,
I mean, I think if from this list standpoint, I probably need to kind of hear exactly how they do it because they got Steph Curry on that list, and I don't think Steph Curry is a ball dominant guy. I think that's part of his greatness that he's not a ball dominant guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the little tiny.
So it's pretty interesting to see like how they view him. Is it just the attention that he gets, or is the attention he gets when he has the ball? We just kind of like hear.
It's ball because they're going to come out with an off-ball gravity stat too. Guys who bend defense when they don't have the ball in their hands. So this is purely when he's got the ball in his hands. But I mean,
he'll be he should be number one on that.
Yeah.
And if you on both lists, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's true.
That's pretty impressive.
I bet you Embiid's going to be on both lists.
I can see him being big because you can't. I mean, big is so big you can't get too detached from him because of their size.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind where he is at all times.
Yeah. You guys think Harden would be on that list or no?
No,
not
that one.
What, for the 1 second he doesn't have the ball?
He has the ball too much. He has the ball too much.
That's true.
That's why I said it'd be hard to be on both lists. That's what I'm saying. Like a guy like Dame's on one list. I don't. I can see Dame on there before James, but I couldn't see either one being on both lists.
Yeah,
because they usually have the ball primarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.